You're talking to a friend about going back in time. He contemplates for a second about the decision he would make, leans in, and says,
I would stock up on Bitcoin and get ready to retire.
What if I told you that your favorite class-based first-person shooter also had a way to achieve this fully legitimately, even though it should in the long run be considered a technical glitch and not a loophole, because it could have bought anyone tens of thousands of dollars? It's the morning of June 10th, 2010. Eminem releases his seventh so far most successful album, Twilight Saga's third movie Eclipse gets released, and Valve launches Team Fortress 2 on Mac. With the release, Mac users get a multiple-day window between June 10th and 14th to open up Team Fortress 2 on their Apple devices and obtain a pair of white, all-class earbuds. Everyone is hyped. This is one of the first promotional items and people are very excited. In fact, the excitement is so big the earbud hype train starts. However, a huge chunk of the player base quickly starts to riot. It seems unfair that the window to get the promotional items is so short, considering that the update was absolutely unannounced prior. Players start recognizing that a lot of them will not be able to take up the offer due to them being busy or away. Valve takes notice. The offer is extended to August 16th, spawning a lot more earbuds. However, what Valve did not realize was that the extra window of obtainability also spawned one of the largest loopholes in Valve's history. Back in 2010, Team Fortress 2 was a paid rather than free-to-play video game that it is now. The pricing varied as time moved on, but generally it was about $20, later on dropping to $9.99. For reference, currently the earbuds are worth about $10 to $12. To understand how the loophole works, we have to understand what was needed to obtain earbuds for one's Steam profile. In now classic Valve's fashion, there was only one thing to do. Launch TF2 with your account on a Mac device between the aforementioned dates. That's it. At first you may think, well, this is barely a viable deal. TF2 costs $20 while the earbuds are barely worth $12. But it is important to take a trip down the memory lane. While the earbuds were originally worth about 9 to 15 keys, which was about the price of Team Fortress 2 or the orange box, the peak price for a pair of earbuds was in fact 24 keys in mid-2013, which is twice more than the game itself. If we put this to theory and lock TF2 game's price at $20 and assume that we would be selling the buds at their peak for 24 keys, with the key being worth about $1.80 compared to Backpack TF's cash trading forums, you could get $43.20. Subtracting the game's price from this would equal to $23.2 in return. If you divide $1 million from $23.2, you would get $43,103. So, if you had a spare $43,000, you would be able to earn an entire $1 million just by creating 2,155 Steam accounts, buying TF2 on each one of them and launching the game on them within the provided promotional earbuds timeframe, finally selling them at their all-time peak for keys and then turning it into dollars. Sounds easy. I got wind of this loophole when I saw that a website I then frequented, which was the home of Lithuania's TF2 community, started offering earbuds €1 each. All you had to do is transfer them the money and they would use a Mac to launch TF2 on your account. Back then, things such as two-factor authenticators did not exist, so it was all based on trust in your fellow community admins. Thing is, I believe owning a MacBook was not even necessary to do this in the first place. I think using a virtual machine, which is a virtualized instance of a computer that can perform almost all of the same functions as a computer, including running applications and operating systems, would have been enough to get the promotional goodies even on a Windows computer. While earbuds are mainly mentioned in their best days, it should be highly noted that between 2011 and 2014, they were never cheaper than TF2 itself. So even though to make $1 million anywhere there in between said timeframes would have taken you much longer, it would still have been theoretically possible as long as you had a bigger money investing pool. What killed the Earbuds prices was the deranged price increase of Manco keys. You see, metal keys and earbuds were always considered to have pure value because of their extremely stable prices. It is pretty much TF2 money. However, since the pricing of these pure currencies is so interlaced, when the key prices took off to the moon, the earbud prices hit the ground, respectfully. While doing research for this video, I stumbled upon a wiki article about promotional items for TF2, and it featured a surprising amount of items I had forgotten at all existed. At first, most of them are worth barely anything. However, over time, due to the fact they are no longer obtainable, they rise in price quite a bit. Some examples are: a genuine Vuvuzela noisemaker, 4.4 keys. Initially, it was worth less than 1. Max's severed head, 24 keys, at some point reaching about 50 keys in price. Genuine mole, $30 on the Steam market, initially sold for about $2 to $3 for years. Sure, some of them are worth just a few refined, but quite a few promotional items either had an unreasonably high price at the time and cost more than the game you obtain it from, or eventually rose to an enormous price only a few collectors are looking to pay, because the item is suffering from the lack of supply. Each item within the game has a story. Some of them are relatively simple. However, some tell tales that touch the game's economy in now unimaginable ways. So, if I had a time machine, would I stock up on hundreds of earbuds? Well, no. There would be 1,000 better ways to set myself up financially for life. However, if I knew that trading was going to be added to my favorite game in 2011, and I have the chance to stack up on an item that will wield superior value to most promotional items, I would have certainly done so.